Welcome back. This is part 4. In this episode we will continue working on the engine. Let's go ahead and get started. We will start by attaching the spark plug wire bracket and the ignition coil plugs. Do this for all 3 ignition coils. Let's go ahead and fasten the wiring around the alternator bracket. In here, we're going to attach the bracket that holds the wiring for the cam sensor. Go ahead and zip tie the wiring to the bracket after the bracket is installed. Now in this situation, this is your best friend. You could buy a harness already pre-made, but I'm heavily modifying this vehicle, so I'm gonna need to know where everything is at. What we want to do is we want to trace every single wire back to every connector. Make sure you label every single wire so you know exactly what you're working with. Alright, so now I'm going to clean up the wiring a little bit, and I'm going to make sure that I have enough room for the supercharger bracket. I'm definitely not going to be needing this guy, so I can get rid of this. I'm also going to replace the alternator. Let's go ahead and install the alternator. Push the long bolt through the top hole, but do not secure it. This is going to hold the alternator in place while you secure the bottom bracket. Now we can remove the long bolt on top and attach our supercharger bracket. This spacer needs to go in between the supercharger bracket and the alternator. Now, in order to use this supercharger bracket, you're going to need a socket screw. Alright, so now we need to insert the screw through the supercharger bracket, add the spacer, and then secure it to the alternator. In order to secure the other 2 bolts, we have to remove the pulley in the middle of the bracket. This is going to allow us to access the bottom of the bracket . This is the belt that we'll be using on the next episode. And that's all the time we have for today. See you guys on episode 5.